Hey, what's up? Harry James. Um, this is not about, excuse me, getting sober. This is about staying clean and sober. Getting sober is hard. Staying sober is harder. Sometimes we send the wrong message to newcomers. It is often suggested in 12-step meetings that you quit drinking and drugging and everything's going to be good and get great again. It's not. It's going to be real, but all that stuff we've been running from and dodging for years sometimes is going to be right in our face. And we're going to have to feel stuff that we've never felt before because we don't have the anesthetic effect of drugs and alcohol. And I'll be the first to say, that ain't fun. And two, most often we fail because we don't have any tools. Slipping and relapse is not part of recovery. I don't care who says it is. It hadn't been my experience. I've been clean and sober for almost 35 years. Now, has that all been good? No. Continuous sunshine actually makes for a desert. It takes a little bit of stormy weather for anything to stay alive, much less grow, and God forbid, flourish. I've learned more so today to embrace the pain and adversity because that's where I'm forced to grow. And to be honest, after 35 years, I'm tired of growing sometimes. I don't want to grow anymore. I've seen enough. And yet, in reflection, that's where the gifts are. Peace and serenity is about the ability to be right here, right now. When I was drinking, I could sit in a bar and get tight, and I wasn't having to worry about what I was going to have to do tomorrow because of what I did yesterday. See, the fact is that you sober up a horse thief, all you have is a sober horse thief. He's got to quit stealing horses. You will learn later on that our drinking and drugging is but a symptom. We have to get the causes and conditions. And I'm not going to ruin the surprise. Causes and conditions, you're looking at them in the mirror. When you look in the mirror, you're looking at the problem. It ain't life. It ain't them. It ain't the credit bureau. It's not that job. It's not, oh, what's her name? It's you. The spiritual axiom suggests that no matter what the cause, whenever I'm disturbed, the problem lies with me. With me. And that problem is that I allow people, places, and things sometimes to drive me blindly through life and control my nature, and especially my emotional nature. Allow them to ruin the next hour, the next day, or for years. I've been controlled by some of those things for a long, long time. You deserve a better deal than that. And I can promise you without reservation that if you embrace these principles and try to employ them in your life, you don't ever have to feel this way again, ever. Now, there's going to be low trials that lie ahead. And I'm told in the literature on page 18, I believe, if we fail to perfect and enlarge our spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others, we would not survive the low trials that lie ahead. Being sponsored won't keep you sober. Being sponsored will get you sober and get you through the steps the first time. But page 89 says that practical experience tells us and shows us that nothing will ensure immunity from the next drink or drug like intensive work with other alcoholics. It doesn't even say we have to help them. We just got to try. It's about getting out of self and doing, or trying to treat God's kids like we all want to be treated. In its simplest form, G-O-D is love. Love is a verb. It's about what we do. It's never about what we say. And if I hate the man I see in the mirror, it's impossible to love you. or anybody else. And you may very well find the truth, the same holds true for you. Why are you here? You're either sick and tired of being sick and tired, or somebody in one of your loved ones is waist deep in their own addiction and you don't know what to do. I feel for you. It's a tough, hard place to be. We feel helpless, and yet we want to help. And truth is, drinking and drugging, when it's a problem, is committing suicide one day at a time. There are 3 outcomes to drinking and drugging. We either kill ourselves or we die slowly. We end up in an asylum or a sanitarium. We go to jail or prison, or we get sober. None of that sounds fun, does it? It's not. The book talks about either going on to the bitter end or accept spiritual help. Now, spiritual help, don't let your mind keep you in contempt prior to investigation. It's a lot bigger hoop than what you think it is to jump through. I didn't come in here to get good. I didn't even come in here to get better. But the process of continuing to look at me allowed me to change. I had questions about that bitter end or accept spiritual help. And my questions were about the bitter end. How bitter is it, and which end are you talking about? Because we all know that we can stand a lot of pain when we're out there doing the deal. Even today, sober as a judge, I think I can grit my teeth and hold my breath and take the pain. We don't have to do that anymore. And sometimes I forget. Now, if you frequent 12-step meetings, walk cautiously, because everything you hear in that meeting is not based in recovery. And quite often, some things said in that meeting are 180 degrees off of what recovery is. For example, you may hear, if all I do is stay sober today, then it's been a good day. Just know, that's wrong. Page 82, paragraph 3. Sometimes we hear an alcoholic say that the only thing he needs to do is keep sober. Certainly he must keep sober, for there will be no home or life if he doesn't. But he is yet a long way from making good to the wife or parents whom for years he has so shockingly treated. We feel a man unthinking when he says sobriety is enough. That's page 82, 4th paragraph. You may hear, you don't need a shrink, you have an alcoholic personality. All you will ever need is the first 164 pages of the book. No. Page 133, 2nd paragraph. But this does not mean that we disregard human health measures. God has abundantly supplied this world with fine doctors, psychologists, and practitioners of various kinds. Do not hesitate to take your health problems to such persons. Most of them give freely of themselves, that their fellows may enjoy sound minds and bodies. Try to remember that though God has wrought miracles among us, we should never belittle a good doctor or psychiatrist. Their services are often indispensable in treating a newcomer and in following his case afterwards. AA is the only way to stay sober, some say. It's not. Nor do we have the monopoly on getting sober or staying sober. Page 95, paragraph 4 says, if he thinks he can do the job in some other way and prefers some other spiritual approach, encourage him to follow his own conscience. We have no monopoly on God. We merely have an approach that worked with us. Page 164, 3rd paragraph. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. Something else you may hear. My sponsor told me that if in making an amend I would be harmed, I could consider myself as one of the others in step 9. For those of you who don't know what step 9 is, may direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. If you have a sponsor and they tell you that you are ever one of the others in step 9, fire them and get somebody that knows what's going on. That's just not true. Page 79, paragraph 2, reminding ourselves that we have decided to go to any lengths to find a spiritual experience. We ask that we be given strength and direction to do the right thing, no matter what the personal consequences might be. We just got to take the action and stay out of the results, no matter what your fear suggests to you. Something else you may hear, I need to forgive myself first. You need to be good to yourself. Page 74, second paragraph. The rule is we must be hard on ourselves, but always considerate of others. Early in the book, it says, almost none of us liked the self-searching, the leveling of our pride, and confessions of our shortcomings, which this process requires for successful consummation. I think the book is kind. It says almost none of us liked. I've never met a soul, not one single individual in 35 years that likes looking at ourselves. That self-examination. You wake up in the morning, oh, I can't wait. Let's see what I can do different today. I don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. But it's necessary for us to build a foundation so we can change. Something else you may hear in 12-step meetings. Take what you want and leave the rest. No. Page 17, paragraph 3. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out which can we have a way out on which we can absolutely agree and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. This is not an apple tree where you pick and choose what you want to do. The 12 steps are suggested as a program of recovery. The steps themselves ain't suggested. If I want what the original 100 or so have, I need to do what they did to get it. It's just that simple. I don't want to hear what you think. I've been in meetings and somebody say, well, I think if they'd have said that to me when I got here, I wouldn't have came back. Okay, the fact that you're here means they didn't say that to you. You did come back, so shut the hell up. I don't care what you think. What have you done? What are you doing? It's about what we do. It's never about what we think. Oh my God. I've heard your HP or your higher power can be whatever you want it to be. A doorknob, a Dr. Pepper can, a light bulb, just any old thing. No, just no. Page 59, step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore sanity. A doorknob, please. Page 45, second paragraph. Lack of power. That was our dilemma. We had to find a power by which we could live, and it had to be a power greater than ourselves. A Dr. Pepper can? I'm not buying it. Just no. Page 25, third paragraph. The great fact is this and nothing less. That we have had deep and effective spiritual experiences which have revolutionized our whole attitude toward life, toward our fellows, toward God's universe. The central fact of our life today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way that is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us that we could never do by ourselves. A light bulb's going to do that? hadn't been my experience. Just do the next right thing, it's often said in meetings. Page 86, fourth paragraph. We may not be able to determine which course to take. Here we ask our higher power for inspiration, an intuitive thought or decision. Page 87, being still inexperienced and having just made conscious contact with God as we understood it, it is not probable that we are going to be inspired at all times. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. Guilty as charged. We don't always know what to do. And that's why our sponsor or spiritual advisor is the ones we go to quite often. More light comes through two windows as opposed to one. Counsel with others is often recommended because they can make observations that aren't charged with emotion and all the things that I'm scared of or what have you. Oh my God. This makes me want to drink my coffee. Don't make any major decisions for the first year. Yeah, just not drinking and drugging. That's not a major decision. Are you serious? Page 60, paragraph 4, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own life, the A, it's the ABCs and how it works, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism, didn't cure it, relieved it. C, that God couldn't would if he were sought. Being convinced we were at step 3, which is that we decided to turn our will and our life over to the care of God as we understood him. Being convinced of what? Being convinced of the ABC, that I can't, that probably no human can, and that he would if I'll seek him. I don't even have to find him, but I need to look. Whatever that ends up being, not a light bulb or a Dr. Pepper can. Stay out of relationships for the first year. This is irritating.